Look, I don't care what you say. It is simply the greatest TV game show of all time, and that's all there is to it. And if you want to disagree with me, that's fine. You do have a right to be wrong. Some TV game shows come on the air and they last for generations. They last for decades with very little change in the gameplay and very little change in the game show hosts. Some of these guys go on to host shows for 30 years, 35 years. Some people become the announcers for 40 years. And then there's Hey Yahoo, a show that was tried and died. So what does it take to make a successful TV game show that's going to last through the ages? We're talking about it on this edition of the Sonic Boomers. I'm Pete.
And I'm Maureen.
So what do we got?
Well, game shows, it's one of those things that's not just for grandma and grandpa. Everybody loves game shows. From the grade schoolers on up, it has something for just about any age bracket. And maybe not every single game show for every single age bracket, but as a genre, it is a fabulously successful format to put on the air. And it's one of those things you can actively engage in watching it, or it could be on in the background while you're doing your housework or doing your homework or that kind of thing. And because of that, it garners a great audience.
I mean, did anybody watch Hey Yahoo? Apparently,
we watched it a few times.
We watched it a few times, and it was horrible. It was just bloody awful. And the show, I think it lasted maybe half a season, no more than one season.
Maybe one season. I don't know. I watched it a few times. Hated the theme that Hey Yahoo. Yeah.
The Yahoo. Yeah.
It's like, I'm not a yodeler. I don't want to see that.
Fun fact: the biggest TV game show flop in television history. Well, should we tell it now, or should we wait for the end of the show?
Oh, tell them now.
Oh, we'll tell them now. And toward the end of the show, I'll give you our pick for best game show of all time.
Sounds good.
But the biggest flop of all time was broadcast one show. It only lasted one show on January 20th, 1961. The show was called You're in the Picture.
Okay.
And the master of ceremonies was the great Jackie Gleason.
The great?
Okay. The problem with You're in the Picture was everybody hated it. And what they did was they would have celebrities on as their guests.
Right.
And they would be behind a screen.
Okay.
And on that screen was a picture. And the celebrity would put their face in the picture in a hole.
Okay.
And by asking questions of Jackie Gleason, they had to guess what the picture was.
The celebrity had to guess?
The celebrity had to guess.
Okay.
And it was awful. And the show lasted one night.
Wow.
The following week, the show went on the air, and Jackie Gleason came out to a dark set at an empty stage with his ever-present cup. And he sat down in the chair and he apologized for putting on such a bad show. And he promised that we will come up with something better. And for that remaining half hour, they said he was mesmerizing, telling stories and talking to the audience to use up the 30 minutes of network time.
What do we need to make a successful show? I think the biggest thing is engaging content.
Mm-hmm.
The content must be interesting. It must be varied. It can't be the same old week after week. Well-crafted questions, challenges, or tasks that are fun to watch, but also stimulate you as an audience, that you feel like you're participating with the contestants.
Yeah.
Or the
a game
actors.
that you can play along at home.
You can play along, or at least visualize yourself doing it. Like some of the things like Beat the Clock. You can't play those games at home, those funny tasks that they have you do. Can you get 3 balloons popped, in 30 seconds or that kind of thing.
Using a needle strapped to your butt.
Yeah. That kind of thing. But it was fun to watch. So it overcame that thing that you can't necessarily actively participate, but you can root for the people and you can visualize yourself doing it. And that all those things being in the right place at the right time allows you to engage more deeply, and that makes for a successful game show.
And of course, for every successful game show format, you have to have a charismatic host.
Absolutely.
And Lord knows we've seen a lot of them over the decades.
Exactly. And the good host needs to be entertaining, reliable, relatable. They don't necessarily have to be like super good looking or whatever, but they need to be something that people can look at and relate to them. And their personality can really
make or break the
show. And we've seen that happen where you have a very successful show and then a different host takes it over and it kind of flounders.
When I think of a game show host, do you know whose name comes to mind for me first?
Alex Trebek?
Not Alex Trebek.
No.
As much as I love Alex.
Okay.
Bill Cullen. Bill Cullen, I think, hosted more game shows than anybody in history. And he was charismatic. He was fun. He was a little bit of a wisecracker. Mm-hmm. And even in the years when he was very ill, he was still hosting game shows with great aplomb.
Yes, and he was also...
like Alex.
He was also a guest, too, like on I've Got a Secret and...
To Tell the Truth.
To Tell the Truth.
Very engaging.
And always respectful at the same time.
Yes, he was the original host of The Price is Right.
Exactly. The old Price. Nothing like The Price is Right that we come to know and love.
No.
And
he did a wonderful job with that.
He did. And yet, as much as we remember him, I would venture to say that if you just went out to ask 100 people, I bet his name would not come up. Because he's kind
of in the rearview mirror now.
It's been a long time since he's been on the air, and I think there's probably several generations now that would not have even heard of him, as good as he was.
Another quick fun story about Bill Cullen. Bill Cullen, you will notice, very seldom ever walked on the set. He was always behind the podium when the show came on and they would introduce it. Mm-hmm. And here's the star of the show, Bill Cullen. And he would be behind the podium.
Right.
Bill Cullen, I believe, had a prosthetic leg.
Oh, okay. I knew he had some kind of mobility issue.
And he had a very pronounced limp when he walked. Mm-hmm. And Mel Brooks told the story that he was a guest on one of Bill Cullen's shows.
Okay.
And when the show was off the air, Bill came around to thank everybody for being on the show. And he was walking up to Mel Brooks and he had this very pronounced limp. And Mel thought that Cullen was kidding around.
Oh, no.
And so he started imitating Bill Cullen.
Oh, no.
And walking toward him with a limp. And everybody thought, oh, my God, Bill is going to be so offended. And he said Cullen laughed like hell. He got such a kick out of it because he said, I'm so tired of people tiptoeing around me.
Okay.
And whispering behind my back. He goes, you had the balls to actually do it, and I'm fine with it.
That's great.
So great story about just the kind of guy that Bill Cullen was.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, another factor that for success is it has to be a unique format. It can't be what everybody else is doing. If it's a trivia-based show like Jeopardy or a physical challenge show like The Great Race, the format should be easy to understand and follow, making the elements from the different game shows create a fresh experience for the viewers, mixing it up a little bit so that it's not exactly the same. But the funny thing is, you've got a show like Jeopardy or like Wheel of Fortune that really doesn't mix it up, and yet they're very successful. Mm-hmm. And I think some of it has to do with the simplicity. I myself, just speaking for me, I don't enjoy a show so much when it's like, okay, round 1 we do it this way. Round 2 we're adding this element. Round 3 is this.
I find
now
that
it's
very
a speed
confusing.
round. Now we're changing the rules. Now you get $500 for each answer. I don't really like that
And in
so
round
much.
3, if this happens,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really. I like to kind of feel secure and simple in following the format. But that's me. I don't know if that's for
I agree.
everybody.
That's one of the legs of the table. Make it easy for the players and for the viewers to understand the whole concept of the game.
Right. Audience interaction. A successful game show often involves the audience, either through live participation or by encouraging viewers at home to engage. This interaction can enhance the viewing experience and create a sense of community amongst the fans. You talk people that love Jeopardy, and you've got like a whole community of people that have stories that have relate what the question, what the categories are that they like, they don't like. It starts a whole conversation.
They know who the goats are on Jeopardy, the so-called greatest of all time.
Right.
They know the players in the TOC. For those of us who love Jeopardy, the Tournament of Champions.
And then don't forget the JIF.
The
JIF.
What's that one?
The Jeopardy Invitational Tournament.
Oh, okay. Or the JIT. Yeah, the JIT.
JIT, right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I said the wrong one.
Yeah, the JIT.
The JIT.
I would have known it anyway.
Anyhow, so the audience participation is really big.
Production quality.
Okay.
Game Show Network, God bless you. The shows that you guys produce in-house, you produce them on a dime. They still look pretty good on camera, but when you go to the set design on Jeopardy, the set design on Price is Right, any of the set design on Fox, blows you guys out of the water. But the production value is still decent.
Yeah.
But I always felt that the Game Show Network produced shows, they have a cut rate look to them on the sets.
Well, they are kind of doing it on the cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, even their biggest prize might be $10,000.
Yeah.
And
you've got to stand on your head to get it.
exactly. And I was going to say, and they hardly ever have to really pay that out because the people don't make it that far.
And
they
during
end
the
up
game,
going
they're
worth
not playing for
1,000
dollars. They're playing for points.
Yeah.
The show that I have to fault Game Show Network for was a good show, People Puzzler.
We liked that one.
We liked it. And the host was Leah Remini.
Right.
Leah Remini is hysterical. She is so saucy and so sarcastic and snarky that she was fun. And I always said the executive producer of that show was very smart because he allowed Leah to be Leah.
Is he the one whose voice would come on sometimes?
His voice would come down from the booth.
And like talk to her and say,
Leah. Yeah. He was tremendous. And he allowed Leah to be Leah. For some reason, the show's not on anymore. I think in reruns, maybe.
I have a feeling that she didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, or maybe people pulled out of it. Because that's what killed Hey Yahoo.
Right.
Yahoo pulled out of the show.
Yeah.
So maybe People Magazine pulled out of the show.
That could be too.
But I thought Leah really was deserving of an Emmy. She was nominated for an Emmy, but she always lost it to Steve Harvey. And I always thought the prizes on, again, it seems like I'm picking on Game Show Network, and I am. The prizes are really crappy. You know, the big prize is $10,000, maybe $15,000. And on People Puzzler, if you were like the runner-up, you got a subscription to People Magazine.
I know.
And I was always waiting for that one contestant to say, what the hell am I supposed to do with this?
They probably said that off the air.
And Leah knew it.
Yeah.
And Leah knew it because sometimes even when she said it, you could see that she was embarrassed.
Yeah.
That she didn't have a better prize for them.
But at least they got something. There's a lot of these shows where you get guts, like you say.
Yeah.
You know, you either win the big prize
or you go home with
and they give you
a handshake and a smile.
They might give you $1,000 as a consolation prize. But if you're one of the runners up, you get nothing.
Not even a copy of the home game?
No, nothing. Not even a year's subscription to the Steak of the Month Club or something, Last factor that I want to bring up is adaptability and evolution. we have seen these shows that have been on for a while. If you look at the very earliest ones versus the version that's on today, you will see that it has changed a bit. And it's not so drastic that you get whiplash from looking at it and say, what did they do to my game?
Yeah.
It's done gradually and subtly through the years. But it needs to happen when you're going to have a show that's on for 20 years. You need to update. You need to be a little bit trendy for it to sustain itself.
If you look at shows like Price is Right or Match Game, they had the same set designer at CBS. And the sets, remember, had that sparkly material on them. And they had that for years and years. And anytime that they would change the set, it would be very subtle. And of course, being the stickler for detail that I am, I would notice it right away. I'd say, oh, geez, they changed the curtain, or they changed the logo, or they changed the podiums. But all of those changes have to be done very gradually so that people don't feel like you messed with their show.
Exactly.
Okay, now we'll talk about some of the most successful game shows of all time, and we'll announce our favorite at the end of the show today.
Okay. Yeah, I think most people would agree that Jeopardy has to be in there.
In their top 5, I'd be shocked if it wasn't in somebody's top 5.
Right. In the long run.
And also, if you look at the contestants that appear on Jeopardy, what an incredible array of people. And also, if you look at the contestants on Jeopardy over, let's say, the last decade, it really holds up a mirror to our changing society, too.
Right. But you have all ages, all genres. You have trans people, you have gay people, you have straight people, you have
anybody and everybody.
Colors, races, creeds, everything.
Yeah, it's been a really fantastic reflection of our changing society, and they've kept up with it.
You mentioned Match Game. It was Gene Rayburn back in the day. You had 6 celebrities and 2 contestants, and the contestants would predict an answer, and the celebrities would see if they matched. They would banter back and forth, getting a little suggestive at times. I always felt Gene Rayburn was a little sleazy.
I know that. I love Gene Rayburn.
I know you did. He didn't do it for me. At any rate, it was a highly successful show. And it went away when it ran its course and nobody really thought about it. And then recently they've brought it back. Password is another one that's been coming back.
Wonderful
original show with Alan
Ludden, and with his lovely wife
Betty White.
Betty White occasionally as a
he met
as
her
a contestant
on there.
Did they meet there?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Again, charming host, polite, gregarious. It was like hanging out at a very polite party in somebody's living room to watch. Password.
Now, Password, when I was researching this, it really had quite a few hosts after Alan Ludden, which I didn't really remember till I saw this. But Tom Kennedy hosted it for a while.
Right.
Bill Cullen had it for a while. Bert Convey, who was the last one that I remember. And now they've brought it back with Keke Palmer.
Who is Keke Palmer? Here are the boomers now showing their age.
She's a new it girl.
I'm a guy who watches like the late night TV shows at 11:30, and I'm like, "Where's Merv? Where's Zsa Zsa? Where's Maury Amsterdam?" These people that are on the late night shows now, I have no idea who the hell any of them are.
Well, she's the latest.
Keke Palmer.
Keke.
Okay.
Palmer.
I know Betsy Palmer, but
no relation.
No.
Believe me.
Okay.
It was a good game in its day, and it's being revamped and redone in a new day, in a new audience, and seems to be successful.
There we go. Let's Make a Deal. The original with Monty Hall.
Monty Hall, yeah.
Who I think Wayne Brady has been doing it since 2009. And I think Wayne Brady is very good, but I like Monty better.
Yeah, I think Monty had for me, the knack of the twinkle in his eye, I would call it. You knew he was kind of teasing a little bit with the contestants. How about that? Would you like to have, the box here? Or what's behind the
door
curtain?
number 3.
And he's like, and then he'll be like, it could be fabulous or not.
Yeah.
And he would like tease, and he knew how to create the drama and create the moment. But the it's still a fun show to watch. People dress up in the costumes and they bid and they.
You got to love people that dress up as a carrot and a radish, hoping to win a refrigerator. You got to really admire that. Clearly, one of the most successful game shows of all time, and still on the air today, Family Feud.
They might be the record breaker for having the most hosts.
Right. The original host was
Richard Dawson.
Right. And
known for kissing all the women.
Yes. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, that was kind of his trademark.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I feel about it.
Today I wouldn't like it, but back then I didn't mind it.
Interesting story behind Family Feud. When the network canceled Gene Rayburn and Match Game, they replaced it with Family Feud.
Okay.
And they brought Dawson in to host it because of his charismatic performance on
the Match Game.
And he and Gene Rayburn did not get along. And it was apparent on the air on some editions of Match Game. And so when they canceled the show and then they brought Dawson in Rayburn's time slot, Rayburn was, you can imagine, was heartbroken.
Yeah.
His daughter said he never got over that the network did that to him.
Yeah.
But look at all the hosts they had. The original,
Richard Dawson,
who was followed by Ray Combs, who of course died very tragically. John O'Hurley from Seinfeld.
Louis Anderson.
Everybody forgets that Louis Anderson did it. Richard Karn from Tool Time.
Right. And now selling hoses.
Yes.
And of course, Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey.
Yes. Who is fantastic as the host.
The only thing that I will say, and I don't know if it's really necessarily his fault, sometimes some of the writers take a little bit too much liberty with the answers. They might say, what's something that you admire about your husband? Yeah. And they might say their butt.
Yeah.
Well, when the answer comes spinning around on the big board, it will say the Hershey Highway. I saw this.
They actually did this on one of their shows.
Hand on the Bible. Yeah. That was one of the answers. And I'm like, really? Butt was perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah. Butt, booty.
Yeah.
Hershey Highway.
Maximus,
I'm sorry. That's, again, maybe that's just a boomer being a boomer, but I've got an issue with it.
They do that a lot.
Yeah.
With, somebody will say, what's something that Adam wore in the jungle? And they might say a fig leaf, and they'll turn it around into a banana hammock.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, well, fig leaf was fine. We got the picture.
Yeah, but banana hammock gets the laugh.
Right? I understand.
And this show is about making people laugh.
I understand that, but I mean, sometimes I think I don't enjoy it as much.
Now, here is the show that is said to be the show that saved the ABC television network.
What's that?
And that was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? ABC television really looking for a ratings hit. And they brought in their home run hitter, Regis Philbin. Mm-hmm. It was a great show because, again, it had all of the things that they tell you make a great show. The questions got harder as you went up the ladder. You could play at home. The audience could play along. Of course, they wouldn't answer the questions unless they did an audience shout out or something. But It had all of the ingredients, fabulous production values, and of course, Regis, terrific directing. It was just a perfect storm of all of the right things.
I'm not sure.
But apparently they had, again, a long line of hosts on this. And Meredith Vieira, Cedric the Entertainer,
Okay.
Terry Crews. I have no idea who Terry Crews is. Chris Hansen,
Okay.
and Jimmy Kimmel.
And that to me says that the game has merit. If you can put a different host in and the game is still successful, then it's the game. It's not about the host. There's been, I think, a change in some of the newer game shows that I thought we might just bring up briefly. Seems to be a couple of different shows. I'm thinking of the 1% Club.
Yes.
And I'm thinking of The Floor in particular. Two shows that start out with 100 contestants. And they whittle it down and whittle it down. Now, in the 1% Club, it happens in one episode in that night. In The Floor, it's done over a whole season. And I think that's something that's very different. And maybe it's a new trend. I don't know.
I think that's something that we haven't seen before.
Right.
They have good hosts with Joel McHale on the 1% Club.
Right.
And before him, Patton Oswalt. Now, they fired Patton Oswalt
Okay.
because they weren't satisfied. I liked Patton Oswalt better than Joel McHale.
I've gotten to like Joel.
I mean, again, he's good.
Yeah.
He's done game shows before. He's competent. He's good. But I really liked Patton Oswalt because he also had that little curmudgeon-y
Yeah.
streak to him that I found very very likable.
So we'll have to wait and see how these shows go because they've only been on a few seasons.
Right.
And I guess the jury is still out on them. But I think it's a new trend that bears watching. And it may be another asterisk on the list of what makes for a good game show.
Some of the other shows that are among the greatest of all time that we didn't mention, Wheel of Fortune. I think I like Ryan Seacrest better than Pat Sajak.
Do you?
I found him a little standoffish.
Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where Seacrest seems to be more of a people person. Of course, The Price is Right, probably the longest running game show, continuously running game show in history. And when Bob Barker left, Drew Carey came in, and he's been doing the show now for a long time, since 2007, believe it or not.
Wow.
But I'm still a Bob Barker fan. Drew Carey came in, and I think he turned that show into a frat party.
I don't agree. That's a hard show to host because you have to learn
All the
those games.
The one thing that I will say about Drew Carey that really impressed me was when Drew took over the show, there was one guy on the staff of Price is Right, and his job was to teach Drew every game on the show and make sure that he knew it backwards and forwards. And that guy left the show. And when he left, Drew Carey had him come out on stage and introduced him. And he said, "This is the guy that I owe my success to because he taught me every game on this show." And he's crying.
Drew is.
Drew is crying while he's, and I thought, I like the show better with Barker, but what you just did there spoke volumes to me, again, about Drew Carey. So those are the elements that go into the making of a successful game show. And now we're going to give you our choice for the greatest TV game show of all time. Jeopardy! Yep, Jeopardy, Alex Trebek, Johnny Gilbert, the announcer. Johnny Gilbert, God love him, he's 94 years old.
And still going
And he
strong.
sounds incredible. God bless you, Johnny Gilbert. You rule the roost.
He rocks.
And, of course, the wonderful Alex Trebek. Great job now by Ken Jennings. And, yes, I am saying it. Jeopardy is the greatest game show of all time. And if you disagree with me, fine. You have the right to be incorrect. Join us again next week for another edition of the Sonic Boomers. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And our ratings are really on an upswing lately.
Our viewing, we really appreciate you guys. We notice you're really helping to put smiles on our faces. And if you would, just please subscribe.
Yep.
We're not the kind of people that will flood your inbox with pain in the neck spam
No,
and
we
emails
sell. Notice
and
we've
stuff.
never sold in the 6 years we're doing this. We have never sold anything on this show.
Right.
We don't do it for the money. We do it for just the love of doing it and bringing you hopefully good entertainment.
So please, if you would just do us the solid and
Do us a
subscribe
solid.
and subscribe. It
Didn't
would
you
really
make fun of me once for saying that?
I probably
You
did.
did.
I probably.
I'm Pete
I make
Torriello.
fun of you for everything. How am I supposed to remember every single thing?
I'm Pete Torriello.
I'm Maureen Torriello.
We'll see you next time.